Okay, let's be real. Have you ever felt completely lost in your own cloud environment? You know the feeling. You're jumping between AWS, Azure, and GCP, and you're just trying to find one specific thing in this absolute sea of confusing, inconsistent names. Well, today, we are going to cut right through that chaos. We're going to architect a unified naming system, one that finally brings order, clarity, and most importantly, control back to your multi-cloud world. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to dive deep into the multi-cloud mess and really figure out why it's such a massive headache. Then we'll define our mission, what it really means to get unified naming. After that, we'll get our hands dirty designing a practical blueprint. And then, and this is crucial, we'll talk about automation and enforcement. And to top it all off, we'll look at the incredible payoff you get when you actually get this right. All right, let's get right into it. Section 1, the multi-cloud mess. You might not even realize it, but there's a really high, often hidden cost that comes from just, well, having no clear system for how you name things. Let's uncover it. Does this sound familiar? Picture this. You're in the middle of a firefight, trying to debug a critical production issue. You're frantically jumping between cloud consoles, and it honestly feels like every single project was named by a different team with completely different rules, maybe on a different day of the week. It's just a maze. And it makes finding something, securing it, or even just trying to figure out what it costs a total nightmare. And this is the difference we're talking about, chaos versus clarity. I mean, look at the left. You've got names like DB main final or web server prod US. What does that even tell you? Is final really the final version? We've all seen final v2, right? But then look at the right. Wow. Each name tells a complete story. You've got the environment, the provider, the application, the resource type. It's totally self-documenting. You know exactly what it is and what it does in a single glance. No guesswork needed. Okay, so we've seen the problem up close and personal. Now let's talk about the solution. This is our mission, to create a unified naming system. And the way we're going to do it is by establishing something called operations governance. And to really get our heads around this, let's put on our architect hats for a second. Right now, you are the senior multi-cloud architect. It's your job. You've got the authority, and you've got the responsibility to clean up this mess and build a solution that's not just a Band-Aid, but something lasting and scalable. This is your challenge. So what is this operations governance thing really? Think of it like the official rulebook for your entire cloud. And it's not about being neat just for the sake of being neat. No, it's about creating policies that are consistent and, this is the most important word, enforceable. Policies that bring genuine control. This is the bedrock, the solid foundation of any well-run professional cloud operation. So, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to design one single unified naming convention. I'm not talking about separate, conflicting rulebooks for AWS, Azure, and GCP. Nope. We're talking about one master blueprint, one standard that works seamlessly across all your cloud providers for every single resource. All right, now for the fun part, actually designing the blueprint. In this section, we're going to break down the anatomy of what I like to call a perfect, self-documenting resource name. You see, a really great name is built from these clear, logical puzzle pieces. You start with the environment. Is it prod or dev? Then you add the provider. Is it AWS or GCP? Next up, the application or the service it belongs to, like billing or auth. And finally, you finish it off with the resource type, like VM or SQL. You string them all together, and bam, you get a name that's clean, predictable, and anyone on the team can understand it instantly. And here's a super simple 4-step process to get you there. First, identify the core attributes that actually matter to your organization. Don't over-engineer it. Second, choose your delimiter, like a hyphen. And please, just stick with it. Consistency is key. Third, document the standard. Write it down so clearly there's zero room for confusion. And finally, and listen, this might be the most important step of all, you have to socialize it. Talk to your teams. Getting their buy-in is absolutely essential. People are way more likely to follow and even champion rules they had a hand in creating. Okay, so you've designed this brilliant blueprint. That's great. But a plan on paper doesn't actually fix anything, does it? So how do you make it a reality? Well, that's where our next section comes in, automation and enforcement. Look, let me be blunt about this. A great design is 100% useless without consistent enforcement. You can't just send out a memo with the new standard and hope for the best. Hope is not a strategy. What you need to do is build automated guardrails, systems that make it super easy to do the right thing and really, really hard, if not impossible, to do the wrong thing. So, how do you actually build these guardrails? You use tools. Think of it like this. Policy as code, with something like Open Policy Agent, can automatically check resource names before they ever get deployed. You can also build gates directly into your CI/CD pipelines. These act like a bouncer at a club, blocking any code with a bad name from ever getting into production. You can even use the cloud provider's own built-in tagging policies, or if you need to, write custom scripts that scan your environment and flag anything that's non-compliant. The point is, automation is what makes this whole thing stick for the long haul. And finally, we've arrived at the good stuff, the reward for all this hard work. This section is all about the governance payoff, the very real, tangible benefits you get when you finally bring order to the chaos of your cloud. And believe me, the payoff is huge. First, you get instant operational clarity. Your team isn't wasting precious minutes or hours hunting for resources during an outage. Second, your security posture gets dramatically tighter. Why? Because you can write super precise access rules, like instantly locking down every single resource that starts with prod-billing-. Your automation scripts, they become way simpler and more reliable. And here's the big one, the one that makes the finance team your best friend. You get accurate cost tracking. You can finally see, down to the penny, exactly what that production billing app is costing you across all your providers. The guesswork is just gone. So let's be clear, this is not just about being tidy. It's a foundational practice for running a mature, a secure, and a cost-effective multi-cloud strategy. It's not optional for serious teams. So now you have the blueprint. The only question left is, when are you going to start building?